I'd like to welcome everyone to service this morning. I'm glad to see you're all here. And I'm Justin, I'm the minister here. And I extend to you the warmest of welcomes and thanks for coming up the hill this morning to see what we do up here. To the rest of the congregation, thank you so much for showing up today. It's good to see you, Lucas in Brooklyn. Always good to see you, and Megan. I would like to highlight the religious education staff this morning. So would the staff of the religious education department please stand up? Megan is our teenage assistant. And would the RE committee stand up? Because I want you to know that religious education is not just something that happens without the help, and you can sit down, without the help of a lot of people. So I really am thankful for our RE department and glad that you're all with us this morning. If you're new to Unitarian Universalism, one of the things I always like to say is we're covenantal, but we're not creedal, which can sound like jargon or just a jumble of language. What I mean when I say that is Unitarian Universalism is not focused on any individual theology or belief. It focuses on the idea that we work better together. As a group of people that believe a lot of different things, we do, at the end of the day, believe that we can build a better society if we're able to put aside our specific differences and work together. Love is the power that holds us all together and is at the center of our shared values. Being rooted in love, we believe that all human beings should be treated with dignity and respect. At Hope, we seek to transform ourselves in the world through community service and love. And whoever you are and whomever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey and whatever your life circumstances, you are welcome here. At this time, I would invite you to all rise and body your spirit as you feel called, and we'll sing our hymn of gathering.
We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. And we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place.
It is our tradition in Unitarian Universalism to begin every service with the lighting of the chalice. This month, I've selected these words that we will read together by Reverend Tess Baumberger. We gather as a community of spiritual seekers, always ready to awaken each other's curiosity in this beautiful, challenging, and complex world. May we enter our worship today with open minds, warm hearts, and spirits entranced with possibility of healing, of hope, and transformation, of justice. Come, let us worship. You may be seated. What did you bring with you today? Did you bring in some baggage? A little bit of luggage that was gifted to you by all the people who were supposed to have loved you the most? That you've been packing all together since you were a child and you made your first big mistake? Does it have stickers on the sides? Like memories of times you'd rather forget? You know, the ones that you can't stop thinking of right before bed. The ones that are always there no matter how hard you scrub the glue on the suitcase. Is your luggage full of failure, of mistakes? Or does it have within it a book that you've self-published on all the dumbest things you've ever said. So I'm not going to tell you to set it down, because I know a secret. You can use it. Use those failures to find a better way. You might learn that it's not just failure, it's just resilience. Use those mistakes to help you learn deeper truths, and you will find out that it might have just been part of the process to becoming better. In that book you self-published with all the dumb stuff you ever said, turn it into poetry, or maybe a sermon. But if you do nothing else, don't be self-conscious about it. We all carry it. We've just got different stickers. I carry mine into the pulpit every week. The thing is, here at this church, we've learned that even when it's tight, we can make space for the baggage. And if you're willing, we will even help you sort it. But the most important thing is that you are here and you are not alone. Let's say our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church, in service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. And at this time, I would again invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing hymn number 112, Do You Hear? Seated.
Good morning. My name's Jeff Dossett, and I've got a few announcements this morning. Looks like we're a little too close there. This coming May 17th is going to be our congregational annual meeting, where we discuss the next year's business, vote on the next year's officers for the Board of Trustees, vote on the church budget, and all those good fun things. There is a copy of the annual report on the table going out of the sanctuary. If you did not get one, please pick up a copy of that so you can read through that and be as informed as you can possibly be for that meeting. We are also going to provide a sack lunch during the annual meeting, and we're going to try something a little bit different this year. Instead of just guessing what kind of sandwiches everybody would like, if you would sign up on this sign-up sheet and check the kind of sandwich you would like to have, that will help the membership committee in ordering the right kind of food. And so that's going to be out there on the table between now and the meeting, okay? There's also a list of voting members at the membership table. If you have a question about that, you can check that and see where you are on that. Next Sunday for Mother's Day, there's going to be a flower communion during the service, and so we encourage everybody to bring a flower or two for that flower communion, or bring a picture of anyone who filled out that role for you. That's your mother or grandmother. It'd be a good special day next Sunday.
Yeah, that's a both and.
That's a both and?
Yeah, so bring some flowers so that we'll trade the flowers like we normally do. And if you've never done it, don't worry, it's not that hard. Everyone else will show you how to do it. And then, but also we're going to this year display images of the people who fulfilled that role of feminine instruction in our lives, whether it be your mom, your grandmother, your auntie, or even your dad. And we're going to set up some pictures so we can see what each other's people look like.
That sounds like great fun.
She right here. We don't need her picture.
Don't put her on the table.
All right, a couple more things here. As you know, we do Feed the Homeless every third Saturday. It's a great, fulfilling activity where we get to help the community. There is a sign-up sheet on the cookie table, and so if you'd like to help with Feed the Homeless, please take the opportunity to do so. Women of Hope are meeting this Thursday here at the church at 6 o'clock, May 7th, for a potluck. And so they'll be here at 6 for some fellowship, and then 6:30 get to eat and just have some more fellowship. Friday, the church will be closed for our first wedding on our new wedding venture. So that's going to be this Friday, pretty much all day. So if you want to come up here and do business, sorry, we're closed. And then there's a bunch of local events coming up in the area. We have Good Trouble Tulsa to detention. The detention to deportation pipeline, how ICE operates in Oklahoma and impacts our community. If you wanted to learn about that, it's going to be Monday, May 11th at 6 p.m. at the Teamo Restaurant at 61st and Sheridan. And then Tulsa Indivisible Tulsa County, their monthly meeting will be Thursday the 28th of May at the Hardesty Library from 6:30 to 8:30. And then that's all this. Oh, there's another one, last one. So we have some superstars in our church. Singing in the Rain, I know, is coming up for some of our great choir members. Larry Cochran, David Tracy, and Janet Nobles are starring in the Broadway Seniors production of Singing in the Rain. And there is a schedule on this week's highlights. If you don't get the highlights, please do so by sending an email to hope@hopeu.org.
Yes.
Very good. All right.
Thanks, Jim.
Stir
So today I have some special guests, as James Donovan would call them, my fans. Today I brought with me my mom and my sister all the way from Detroit, Michigan. And today I'm going to be reading Say Something by Peter H. Reynolds. Thank you, Mom, for always teaching me how to speak up and say something. The world needs your voice. Mine, yes, yours. Go ahead. It doesn't need to be perfect as long as it's from your heart. You don't have to be loud. Powerful words can whisper. You say something in so many ways, with action, with creativity. If you see someone lonely, say something by just being there for them. If you see an empty canvas, say something with your brush. If you see an empty lot, say something by planting a seed and watching it bloom. If you see someone being hurt, say something by being brave. Hey, stop. If you see something beautiful, say something with a poem. If you have a brilliant idea, say something with confidence. If you want to show the world who you are, say something with style. If you are angry, say something to help people understand. You made me feel invisible. That really hurt. I'm really sorry. If you see an injustice, say something peacefully. Inspire others to do the same. Sometimes you'll say something and no one will be listening. But keep saying what is in your heart, and you will find someone who listens. Keep saying it, and you may be surprised to find the whole world listening. If you are grateful for being alive, quietly say something to the stars, to the universe. Some people find it easier to say something than others, but everyone has something to say. So when you're ready, say something. Your voice can inspire, heal, and transform. Your voice can change the world. Are you ready to say something?
Well, that's pretty straightforward. But let me ask the question, has anyone ever been in a situation where you had to say something?
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes it's about the struggles and the difficult things that we see in the world. But sometimes it's just about our own pain, isn't it? Saying, I'm hurt, I'm sorry, or I can't right now. So I just don't have any questions for that except to encourage everyone. Don't be afraid to say something.
Okay.
Our reading for today is Before the Big Bang by Ella Cordova. Before the Big Bang, there was no up, there was no down, there was no side to side. There was no light, there was no dark, no shape of any kind. There were no stars or planet Mars or protons to collide. There was no up, there was no down, there was no side to side. And furthermore, to underscore the total lacking of state, there was no here, there was no there, because there was no space. And in this endless void, which can't be thought of as a place, there was no time. And so no passing minutes, hours, days. Of all paradox that labor common sense, I think this one's the greatest, this time before events. How do we get from nothing to infinity so dense? From immeasurable small to inconceivably immense. But before we get unmoored from the question at the start, let's take a breath and marvel at when math becomes an art. Because we don't have to comprehend it to know there was a time when there was no up, there was no down, there was no side to side.
Think of a moment where you learned a new fact or a piece of trivia that awakened the curiosity in you. Maybe a time from your childhood or even adulthood. Because if you're new to Unitarian Universalism, you might find that UUs are a very curious people. There is something special when I think of awakening curiosity. And it's not about learning a new fact, but about something so enlightening you follow a rabbit hole into some undiscovered country. Maybe it's a book you haven't opened in a while, or a new poet that you can't get enough of, or the title on Popular Science or Maker magazine. Curiosity feeds our imagination. It makes us young, and it feels like it even makes us age backwards. One of the most powerful excuses for being Unitarian Universalist is that we don't have to give up seeking newness and imagination. For Unitarian Universalism is rooted in a theology of curiosity. For us, the world is new every day, and so is our understanding of revelation. Not sealed within the pages of a book, but open, pulling from new sources, new prophets. We're not limited by the words of ancient text, but we expand our minds through the words of Martin Luther King Jr., Greta Thunberg, Mary Oliver, and Carl Sagan. We look for life-giving prophecy in poetry, in prose, and we utilize a theology of co-creation with each other and with the divine. Unitarian Universalism appreciates its heritage, but is not locked in the past. We seek always to be moving forward, for we are a curious people. In her poem, A Rubric of Heat, or a rubric for heat, physicist Sanayana Bhargava writes, "Staring aimlessly out of a crowded train, I begin to wonder about the heat death of the universe." In astronomer Rebecca Elson's poem, Antidotes to Fear of Death, she writes, "Sometimes as an antidote to the fear of death, I eat the stars." I'm equally confounded and astounded by these lines. I understand how sometimes scientific concepts just pop into mind, fed by our optic nerves. As for eating the stars, I still have no clue what that means. It will require much more interpretation. But there is something deep inside me that wants to understand, but is still not committed to awe as I make peace with the idea that I may not. Today I'm going to talk about awakening curiosity by telling you two stories about the things that awaken curiosity in me. I encourage you not to focus necessarily on the words or the concepts, but on the feeling of what it's like when you enter that rabbit hole for the first time in a new subject, for the emotion that carries you from click to click, whether it's on the internet or whether it's books on the shelf, or whether it's building something or printing something on a 3D printer that encourages you to buy 10 of them. Think about that feeling, hopefully opening your heart so that you reflect on what awakens that curiosity in you. Every Sunday after church, my grandma and my granddad would bring us home for lunch from church. It was great. Back in those days, I was a very picky eater. Hold on. Sorry about that. Sometimes you just can't see unless you clean your glasses. Every Sunday after church, Grandma would take me home after church, and we'd have lunch, and it was great. And back in those days, as I said, I was a picky eater, so I would eat grilled cheese. Then I'd have a Klondike bar while watching WWF wrestling. Then they would take us home, and we'd get in a giant Buick and make a trip from Elm Grove to Warwood in Wheeling, West Virginia. In the back of the car, there were always a bunch of books, one of which was this one. This is not the one my grandmother used. I found this on eBay. And it's titled, "You Will Go to the Moon" by May and Ira Freeman. It was an I can read all by myself book. It had a limited vocabulary, so those of us and me at the time, who only knew a few words could experience the joy of reading. But it was the pictures that got me. The version we had in the back of that Buick was the 1971 version, illustrated by Lee Ames. And what blows my mind, though, is not that this book was from 1971. It's that the 1971 version was the second printing. This book originally came out in 1959. And if you will remember, the charge to go to the moon from JFK did not happen until 1961. In 1959, we'd just been able to start launching satellites to reach the moon. There had been no human incursion into space at that time until Soviet Yuri Gagarin went into space in 1961, which was a month before JFK's speech encouraging us not to do what is easy, but to do the things that are hard. So what was going on in 1959 when that led May and Ira Freeman to write, "You Will Go to the Moon"? I don't know. If you compare the versions of the book, there's a dramatic difference in some of the pictures. The book I had from 1971 is based off the pictures of the Apollo version of the moon launch. While the version in the 1959 version, however, was based on the drawings by Werner von Braun. So they updated the book from 1959 to 1971 so the pictures matched. Which is why I have a 1959 version, because I just had to see it for myself. And this might be a bit too much detail, but my point is, for a little boy who had just read, "You Will Go to the Moon," this story was not about some random character. This title is phrased in the imperative, which means the authors were giving a command, not realizing we would shelve the Apollo program in 1972. But they couldn't stop the books that were already printed or the imperative given in a title. And though I would never truly go to the moon, humanity has finally started the process again. And that's good enough for government work. Because even though governments shelve a program, we never stopped looking up as a people for inspiration. There is this vastness in the cosmos that is indescribable outside of mathematics. But for those of us who are not mathematicians, we use allegory and poetry to describe this vastness. So, this is the part where I encourage you to go with your feelings and think about those rabbit holes that you randomly go down every now and again. The observable universe is 93 billion light years in diameter. We know that because with modern technology, we've learned to see 46.5 billion light years away. The Milky Way galaxy, which we are a part, the thing we call home, is somewhere between 85 and 100,000 light years. And we all know the distance of a light year. You can probably rattle it off right now. Oh, nobody? Okay, I've got it right here. It's 5.88 trillion miles.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
A quick Sunday jaunt. Now, as someone who got a D in algebra, this next part might seem very strange. I find numbers very exciting. I know that some of you will argue with me about this, and if so, it's because you're just using numbers to fill in paperwork for government or your job. However, I will double down on the idea that I find the inherent nature of numbers mind-blowing. To explain my appreciation of numbers, I have an illustration because, like I said, I love numbers. I just don't use them very well. This is a construction of cogs and gears. It's a piece of mechanical art called Machine and Concrete by Arthur Ganson. And it does something very wonderful and powerful and exciting. It turns. The ratios used in connection of the gears do something very straightforward. They cause each progressive gear to rotate 10 times slower than the one before it. And if you don't remember all of this, don't worry, there won't be a test. I don't remember it either, I just have notes. If you'll notice, and it's hard to see in the picture, but the last gear is set in concrete. There's a very simple reason for that. But I'll show you on this model. This gearbox is built to do something similar, except there's no concrete. And I will remind you, you don't have to remember the numbers, just the concept. This is the first gear, and this is the last gear. The final gear might as well be set in concrete, because for it to turn, the first gear would have to spin 10 to the 100th power times, which is called a googol, and is 10, the number 10 with 100 zeros following it. Now, there are a few different versions of this gearbox. I got this one a few years ago, and I've seen one built with Legos. But they all have something in common, and it involves numbers and time. That artist could set the gear in concrete because in our lifetime, even if that machine runs every day, that last gear will never turn. While the first gear in my gearbox went under power, but I lost the power plug, when under power, this first gear will turn 86 times a second. The final gear, any guesses? This final gear would turn 1 every 10.3 billion years. That means if I were to somehow turn this final gear 1 or 2 clicks, this first gear would have to spin faster than the speed of light. And without breaking the gearbox, there is not enough energy in the universe for this gear to turn. Each gear then progressively slows down so that when you're about halfway through this gearbox, you're talking about numbers in the hundreds of thousands and the millions. And as I said, finalizing on 10.3 billion years. It was important to me to hold that in my hand, to hold that time in my hand, to understand the massive difference between 1 and 10.4 billion. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The human brain struggles to conceptualize 1 million. And it cannot conceptualize 1 billion or the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. As I said, just pick up the concepts and we'll be fine. For instance, 1 million seconds ago was like 11.5 days. It was less than 2 weeks. But 1 billion seconds ago was 1993. 1 million minutes ago was February 24th, and I was getting ready for staff meeting and preparing for a board meeting that night. 1 billion minutes ago, Hadrian was emperor of Rome around 120 CE. And then I remind myself, as I try to process the difference between 1 million and 1 billion in my head, and I remind myself that 1 billion is 1,000 millions. And I know that may sound silly, but let that sink in. The space between 1 million and 1 billion is outside of human understanding. So you've been paying attention vociferously, trying to remember all the numbers, or maybe you've just woken up. But I bet what you're saying is, so what's the point? Which is a very fair thing to say. And off the top of my head, I can use these same illustrations for 3 or 4 different sermons. But today's point is about curiosity and why we need it. I wanted to share with you why I am so interested in science, in space, and in numbers. Not because I understand them. I don't. Or that I want to show off, though I do like to show off my toys. But because I want you to think about what awakens curiosity inside you. I experience pure joy and reverent awe at learning these things. I love looking at the pictures from Hubble, from the James Webb Telescope. Oh, that's my gearbox. Or the Artemis II mission. The image on the screen and on your order of service is astounding, and it's new. It's from Artemis II, and there is something in the rabbit hole of space and distance that at the end of the day brings me healing. There is excitement when I am following lead after lead, introducing more and more that I don't know. And right now, at least I need that. Because there's a lot going on in the world, and I need to remember that there are things bigger than me. It might be poetry for you. It might be gardening. There are plenty of rabbit holes you can go down in gardening. It might be art, music, or theology. It might even be economics, and that's all right. For some people, they really get a kick out of calculating a budget. I once watched the finals. They have annual finals in competition for who does Excel the best in the world. And some people really just love doing other people's taxes. And let me tell you, I am thankful for those people. Look, you don't have to defend your rabbit holes at all. There's no reason you have to defend it, whether it's doing someone's taxes or some obscure anime that you think is the greatest thing in the world. My point is, when our minds are open to curiosity, they're open to seeing other options for addressing our struggles, whether they are personal, social, or economic, and I will add theological as well, just for fun. The massive space between 1 million and 1 billion may not be your thing, but I know something is. And right now, we need our rabbit holes. We need our imagination, we need our awe, and we need our curiosity, because it is not just about finding a new way. Sometimes our imagination is simply what keeps us strong enough to walk the path we are already on. Your curiosity will heal your soul if you are willing to feed it. Stay curious, my friends, and peace out. Our offertory this morning, or our generosity recipient for the month of May, is it May already? My goodness. Is Emergency Infant Services, which came to talk with us today. And Emergency Infant Services do exactly what their name says. If you know somebody who needs formula, if you know somebody who needs diapers, if somebody needs one of those things or anything, they are here to help. At this church, what we do is we pass the basket, and if you write a check and put on the check line generosity recipient, or put on the check, write a check to Hope, put generosity on the memo line, and that money goes directly to the generosity recipient. If you'd like to give with cash, that money will also go directly to the generosity recipient. At this time, if you would like to pay your pledge, that is also an option. Just don't put anything in the memo line.
Or you could put pledge
Or you can put pledge in the memo line. Rebecca is one of those people who likes doing budgets. Regardless of how you give, though I won't go into why we give, it is important that we give. So please give with the idea of hope for the future. Thanks. let's say our offertory response. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves at fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. We are ever bound in community. Our final hymn will be hymn number 8 in your hymnals, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit as you feel called. Let's extinguish our chalice together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I have yet to find the cat that curiosity killed. So I encourage you at this time to stay curious. It might just save you one day. Go in peace.